It's a new era, a new season, and a new outlook for Las Vegas.
It all starts with competition. I mean, you're either competing or you're not.
There's just some teams where it means a little bit more. There's just some teams where the NFL's better when they're crushing it.
With a new coach and GM at the helm, the opportunities are endless for the Raiders this draft season.
The most important thing is we just get started. What happened in the past is in the past, and away we go.
Armed with a fresh page to write a new chapter in silver and black history.
My town. There you go. There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
So buckle up, Raider Nation. It's almost draft day.
Let's go. Raiders Nation, let's go, baby.
Let's go. Welcome into our Raiders pre-draft special as we get you ready for the NFL draft. I'm Nick Walters.
I'm Alex Eschelman, and we're joined by our teammate Taylor Rocha, who's out at Raiders headquarters. Taylor, what can you tell us about this new era for the franchise?
The Raiders' new regime has deep roots in football and even deeper respect for the game. Head coach Pete Carroll and GM Carroll-Spytek are now tasked with rebuilding the Raiders' culture together.
Pete Carroll's the coach to go build up the Raiders.
This is a great move.
Pete Carroll, silver and black.
It's an unlikely duo, one of the oldest coaches in NFL history and a first-time GM. But Pete Carroll and Carroll-Spytek say they're already aligned.
We're going to partner in this thing. It's so important that our relationship is dynamic and extraordinary and true.
At 73, Carroll returns to the sideline, chasing passion, not past accomplishments.
Everybody that comes to our program has a unique quality that makes them them. And I'm going to try to figure out what that is and find a way to bring that to the surface. And in doing so, you give everybody the chance to be as good as they can possibly be. That's what this is about to me.
Spytek, a longtime executive with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, says it starts with culture.
When I dreamt about having one of these jobs, I always wanted it to be with an iconic franchise like the Raiders. There's just some teams where it means a little bit more. The NFL's better when they're crushing it.
From draft picks to the trade market, they want competitors.
If you don't want to compete, you're in the wrong place.
This is going to be a battle. This is going to be physical. This is going to be old school football.
Carroll and Spytek aren't focused on the Raiders' past. They're building something new.
God, he's fired up to come to work every day. He's got me questioning my youth.
We're going to go arm in arm, John and I, and we're going to put this thing together in a way that's going to make you proud.
And now with a veteran head coach, a fresh voice in the front office, and a starting quarterback in Geno Smith, the Raiders' new era begins Thursday at the NFL Draft.
Well, I know I got goosebumps. Awesome job, Taylor. All right. Raider Nation and all of us are eager to see what a coach like Pete Carroll can bring to the Silver and Black.
Now, Carroll's already brought a seasoned quarterback, Geno Smith, to the Silver and Black after signing him to a 2-year extension and locking him in through the 2027 season.
I'm a little older now, obviously I've gained more perspective, but my mindset has never changed. It's the same thing every day, man. Go out there and compete. Even when I was the backup, that's how I felt. And so I think that allowed me to stay in it. And now that I get the opportunity to start, nothing changes. I'm still, in my mind, that same guy who had to fight, scratch and claw for the opportunity.
Before leading the Seattle Seahawks to their past 3 winning seasons, Smith spent most of his years dating back to 2013 as a backup. And though the 34-year-old is a seasoned veteran, Smith says he's just getting started.
I think there is unfinished business, and I think when people think about my story, Coach Carroll was a big part of that. He gave me an opportunity when not many people would have.
Now, Carroll coached Smith for 5 seasons in Seattle and gave him the starting role in 2022. That same year, Smith led the Seahawks to the playoffs, becoming the Associated Press NFL Comeback Player of the Year.
He was able to take every single day with a clear thought that I may play the very next play, and I'm not going to miss that opportunity. And it was so impressive to me. As soon as we had the opportunity to put him in position to take the lead, I couldn't wait.
While he brings stability, Smith hopes Carroll and his team know one thing.
I've run through a wall for him, and he knows that. I'll do the same for my teammates and for this organization. And so I just want that to be, kind of who I am, and I want that to be the statement of who I am as the quarterback of this team.
Now, Raiders general manager Carroll-Spytek also added that he thinks Geno's journey is a great resource for the team this upcoming season.
And Geno would be a willing mentor to a young quarterback. And while Aiden O'Connell is still on the roster, the future behind center could come from a selection in this year's draft. It's almost time for Roger Goodell to take the podium. Here's your look at the Raiders' 9 draft picks. While the team once upon a time was on track to have the first overall pick, back-to-back wins late in December ended up moving the team back to number 6. The Titans, Browns, Giants, Patriots, and Jaguars are ahead of Las Vegas in that order at the top of round 1. On day 2, the Raiders have the 5th pick of the second round at 37 and pick 68 in round 3. The 92nd pick the Raiders got from the Jets for Davante Adams was sent to Seattle in exchange for quarterback Geno Smith.
Now, a year ago, the Raiders made Brock Bowers their first-round selection at 13th overall, and the former Georgia tight end went on to break a 63-year-old record for most receiving yards by a rookie tight end. Now, Las Vegas could draft their next big star. Pete Carroll and John Spytek enter their first draft together as the Silver and Black's head coach and general manager. And despite trading for Geno Smith, they say the Raiders are still open to selecting a quarterback in the draft.
Remain open-minded, and anybody that can help us at that position in particular is going to be, up for consideration. You guys have all done your investigative journalism well enough to know that we've brought some quarterbacks in, and that wasn't by accident by any means. And we remain open to the most important position in sports to get right, and we're super excited to have Geno here, and we continue to expect him to be here for a while, but you can't have too many of those guys.
In last year's draft, a record 6 quarterbacks went off the board in the first 12 picks, leaving the quarterback-needy Raiders empty-handed. Their pivot to Bowers worked out, but we'll see if this is the year Las Vegas adds a quarterback in the first 2 rounds for the first time since Derek Carr in 2014.
11 years, that's a long time. Okay, when we come back, I got the chance to talk football with former Jets GM Mike Tannenbaum. We'll hear from the ESPN NFL draft analyst on his thoughts on what the Raiders should do at 6 overall.
Plus, I caught up with UNLV football at their pro day. Stay with us.
Let's dive right back in, this time from Raiders HQ. You can tell just by being in the building that things are different. Pete Carroll is bringing the energy, and Jackson Powers-Johnson, he's matching it. I went one-on-one with the Raiders' second-round draft pick from last year to take a peek behind the curtain at the Raiders' new era. You faced a lot of adversity in your rookie season. You mentioned that you had to pull from a lot of different moments in your life to overcome that. Do you feel a little bit freed up year 2 now that you've been through that? There's this new regime. What's the vibe?
Ooh, the vibe. I think the vibe is very enthusiastic and excited, and it's a breath of fresh air. I went through a same kind of revival, and we'll call it a revival, but in college. It's just like this new, young energy, and everyone was excited to come into the office. And that's how I feel now. I mean, I come in every day, I'm excited. I'm not, scared to see my coaches. I don't have that anxiety. I want to see my coaches. And, Pete's been amazing. I know everyone says he's a little bit older, but man, does he have, he is a firecracker. So the vibes are immaculate, for sure. I think everyone's really excited to be here. I think everyone's really excited to see how the season goes and get to work.
JPJ is protecting Geno this season, but with the draft wide open, anything can happen. There may be a new face in the huddle. Nick, Alex, what should we be looking out for?
Well, reports, rumors, and rumblings are rampant this time of year, but nobody truly knows how a team's board stacks up. The closest we can get are folks who used to work in NFL front offices. I got to chat with former Jets GM Mike Tannenbaum to hear his thoughts on the Raiders' game plan this weekend.
Raider Nation is definitely wondering what they're going to be doing at 6th overall in Pete Carroll's first draft as Raiders head coach. But when you think about what the Raiders can do at number 6, what goes through your head?
Ashton Genty, you look at how they've stabilized the franchise. Pete Carroll, very well-established veteran coach. As you mentioned, Geno Smith. And you think about the success that Coach Carroll had in Seattle for all those years with Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch. You look at Ashton Genty, he had over 1,700 yards after contact. Stylistically, he's a perfect fit for Chip Kelly, the new offensive coordinator. Pete Carroll, I'd be surprised if they didn't pick Genty.
Many Raider fans thought that this draft would be the one where they take their quarterback of the future, but then the Raiders traded for Geno Smith. Do you think that quarterback is off the table at the first round pick, and why?
I do. Not only did they give up a 3rd round pick, but they just signed him to a 3-year extension. So I do think they could take a quarterback in the middle rounds, maybe someone like a Riley Leonard from Notre Dame, for example. But just given the constraint system of the NFL salary cap, I would just be surprised if they double down the first round, given the recent extension of Geno Smith.
Do you think the Raiders are ready to compete, or do you think they should be drafting for the future?
You know, I think they really stabilized the franchise, most notably at GM, quarterback, and head coach. And, you know, I think they're going to try to find different ways to win. They're competing against Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Bo Nix. Every time Ashton Jeanty runs the ball, it's one less time that Patrick Mahomes can throw it. That's the way Pete Carroll has won a lot of games. So, again, that's why I think that running back really fits their philosophy. But I think they've really gone a step in the right direction. I'm also a big fan of Chip Kelly. I think he's done a really good job for a long time.
Now, Tannenbaum and many draft experts out there have pegged Jeanty to Las Vegas at number 6, but it's far from a lock. The Jacksonville native could go to the Jaguars at 5, and even if the Heisman runner-up is still on the board, this is the deepest running back class in years. So Spytek could opt to address a premium position in the trenches with their top pick. But Alex, the Raiders aren't just looking for great players on the field, they're also looking for players who are great off the field as well.
Absolutely, Nick. And whether it's back to school events, food drives, or youth football games, the Las Vegas Raiders spend time with our community in more ways than one. And while it means a lot to locals, stepping outside of Allegiant Stadium and into our city is something the Silver and Black cherish too.
I grew up not eating meals every night. You know, some nights was tough for us, you know, for the family. So, you know, this is a good thing, going out, helping families get food on their plate.
It's been a big tradition. You know, we've continued this on from Oakland since my rookie year. It means everything to be able to connect with fans and help the way we can.
For me, it's about giving back, and that's why we started our foundation. So we obviously have been Vegas residents for about 5 years now, so just being able to impact people off the field is everything to me.
All of my state championships were in the college stadiums and the bigger stadiums. And, you know, that was really hallowed ground for me, and that's something that, you know, I'll never forget. So, you know, being able to give the opportunity to these girls to be able to play in such a big stage and such a beautiful stadium, they're going to remember this for the rest of their lives.
I was lucky enough to come last year and just getting to know kind of what Project 150 does. It's an amazing organization, helping out so many families, so many high schoolers around this area of Las Vegas and the Valley. And obviously the main thing is meeting the families and seeing their needs met.
For me, you know, looking at kids, they should all be able to just enjoy life. And a lot of them, they have to go through some traumatic, you know, things in their life. And for myself to be around and kind of, you know, help brighten the day, you know, I mean, sometimes that's the least that we can do is just be around and show our support. And so I'm here to do that.
Really cool to see a guy like Hall of Famer Charles Woodson giving back to our community as well, in addition to the current team. Now don't go away. When we come back, we'll tell you about some local players who hope to hear their name called this weekend.
We are now inside 24 hours from the NFL draft kicking off in Green Bay. But first, let's rewind to last month. Alex, you and I got the chance to cover a historic pro day at UNLV.
That's right, Nick. For the first time ever, there were representatives from all 32 NFL teams at the Fertitta Football Complex, and all eyes were on wide receiver Ricky White III and linebacker Jackson Woodard as the two represented the Rebels at the NFL Combine. Woodard recorded a 36-inch vertical and White ran a 4.44 40-yard dash. Now, while the two would be thrilled to hear their names called no matter what, staying right here in Las Vegas would be a dream come true.
I would love to come back here and be a Raider. I love this city. Since 2022, since I first got here, I've just been welcomed by so much.
I love the city. It's a second home. Pete Carroll getting the job there is pretty big time. He's going to do phenomenal things. Max Crosby, he's a phenomenal player. That'd be pretty fun to play with him. That's somebody I would like to be in the locker room with.
That is definitely a duo that I would want to see. Now, offensive lineman Joe Hawley was the last UNLV player to get drafted back in 2010, and we're wishing our UNLV Rebels as well as their families the best of luck, as we know this is a big moment for more than just the players.
No doubt about it. Look, the day a player hears their name called or even signs their first NFL contract as an undrafted free agent, it's a special moment for football families. At UNLV's Pro Day, I caught up with some of the parents of these Rebel draft prospects.
I know today is the day, right? For everybody to kind of see what he's done up to this point and where it's going to take him next.
We're here now. We're embracing it. We're encouraging it, you know what I mean? And just to see him go through this, man, it's one of a kind.
With scouts from all 32 NFL teams attending UNLV's Pro Day for the first time ever, it wasn't just the guys with clipboards and stopwatches who were watching intently.
It's, you know, watching your kids' dreams come true, like unfolding right before their eyes, right before your eyes. making sure that you're supporting where their head's at from when they were little all the way up to this very moment.
Some Rebel parents flew in to witness their kids test firsthand, including the dad of star wide receiver Ricky White III.
It's a surreal moment, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I've, been right along this journey right with him. So to see him reach his goals and work extremely hard at it, you know what I'm saying, pushing the guys around him, just adjusting to new coaches, new quarterbacks. It's very ecstatic to see the process and, the end result of all of this.
In his 1 year at UNLV, Haj Malik Williams took over at quarterback mid-season and led the Rebs through a record-breaking season. Now he's showing the league what he's got.
Haj has been playing since he was 4 years old, so just to see him continue to do what he loves to do is a blessing. For me to be able to travel to support him is amazing.
I'm very proud of him. He's worked so hard since he started playing football. He's always known what he wanted to do, and he's never wavered on that journey.
These Rebels are grateful to have their parents and siblings in their corner.
It's a blessing. I'm thankful that they allowed me to, to put the work in, make them happy, make myself happy. So just showcase the work that I put in leading up to this point.
Best of luck to the Rebels in this draft class and their families. We certainly hope history is made.
Absolutely. Now it's a big time of year, as we know, for Pete Carroll and John Spytek. So our Taylor Rocha decided to call for backup. She joins us from Raiders HQ.
Pete and John are all about collaboration, so I figured, why not lend a hand? So I hit the strip to see who the people think the Raiders should take with pick number 6. Armed with a mic and 0 scouting credentials, I set out to help Pete and John in the war room, Vegas style.
Question for you. Quick question for you guys. What were you saying? Can I ask you a quick question? People are avoiding me like the plague. Plague? Plague. Any ideas who they should take?
Take my girlfriend. She's the best thing going in the whole world. There is no one better at anything, and that's why we're going to get married tomorrow.
You're getting married tomorrow! Congratulations!
I won't be playing in the NFL.
That's okay, me either. Who should the Raiders take with the number 6 pick in the NFL draft?
I don't really know anyone.
I don't know.
Austin Jesse, running back, beast mode, call it a day. Nice pick.
I love the confidence.
Raiders need a lot of help. Quarterback, Geno Smith, he ain't worth it. He ain't worth it.
Oh.
Garbage. I'm thinking Shadur Sanders.
Sanders Shadir.
Some had strong takes, others, well, not so much.
Crickets.
All I know is Cowboys.
I don't watch football.
We're eloping, and somehow we need to tell all our families.
This is how we're going to do it?
We're going to do it this way.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Great piece as always, Taylor. I am going Tetaroa McMillan, U of A, my alma mater, obviously his alma mater, at number 6. Who are you going, Nick?
Well, in that case, as a former Longhorn, I have to go Kelvin Banks Jr., the offensive tackle out of Texas, and he is actually a dark horse pick for number 6. But Alex, when you look at the options, if you Google mock draft, many have Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders. But it looks like that might not be the case as we head into Thursday, because there are reports coming out of camp that the Raiders look to be taking an offensive lineman, and there are people within that building that are pushing Spytek to address the trenches. And with that pick, it could be Missouri offensive tackle Armand Membu, or if Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham slips past Jacksonville, I think Spytek and Tom Brady like their Michigan men.
Where does Shadur Sanders fall in all of this, Nick?
Well, keep in mind, I would be shocked if the Raiders actually took a quarterback, Shadur, or anyone else in the top half of the first round. But keep in mind, they could always trade up back into the first round and possibly snag their quarterback of the future. And we know that Shadur and Tom Brady go way back. But look out for Armand Membu, Mason Graham, and some other offensive linemen with that 6th pick. But we'll have coverage before the draft through the weekend. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Nick Walters.
I'm Alex Eschelman. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow starting at 4:30 for our NFL Draft Special Day 1.